Everyone. My name is Kenzie Bok. I'm the administrator of the Boston Housing Authority, and I'm just so thrilled to welcome you all to Franklin Field, one of our BHA sites today. It is just so exciting to all be here together, so thank you, welcome. You'll hear from them in a little bit, but I just want to welcome you on behalf of the Franklin Field Tenant Task Force, who are really critical resident leaders here. We've got a ton of BHA staff in the house. Yeah, can we clap for them? So yeah, this is really their home, and we are just so thrilled to be guests in it. And also I want to thank all of the BHA staff who are here, from translators to maintenance staff, to folks who are capital construction folks, just everybody who's working on all aspects of this project. To me, this is such an exciting day. It is actually 1 year exactly since the mayor in her State of the City announced the fact that the BHA would be going fossil fuel free. That was January 25 last year. And I think that, the journey of this year is such a great story of what it can mean to set ambitious goals like that, because we set that goal, and the very first thing that meant back at the BHA was that, the first step to going fossil fuel free is not adding more fossil fuel infrastructure. And we were just about to add a new, natural gas boiler system because the one here was reaching the end of its useful life. And so our capital construction director in the back, Rondi, they already had a whole plan for doing this. It was all spec'd out, ready to go. And we said, hey, we've got to go back to the drawing board. And at first, that going back to the drawing board meant, what's the alternative here? We were looking at air source heat pumps. We were putting a bunch of things together. And I think it was, really important for the BHA to be following the mayor's leadership on that. But that following that thread turned into this incredible opportunity for a collaboration with National Grid, which you're going to hear about today, and for us to not just find an alternative and make something work, but actually find an alternative that makes this site, Franklin Field, one of the first in the country to embrace a new clean energy technology. And we are just... We are so excited about that. We deeply believe at the BHA that our public housing residents should be in the front of the green revolution. They should be in the front of the mayor's Green New Deal, and they are. And it means so much to me leading this organization to know that and feel that. And we hope that what we do here at Franklin Field is something that we can do across our BHA portfolio and then can be copied across multifamily portfolios in the city and country. And so it's a really great day. And for us, quality of life of residents and decarbonization have to go hand in hand. And so for me, knowing that this is a project where our residents are going to have in-unit cooling for the first time, in addition to heating, so right now it's just window air conditioners, the fact that we're actually going to have that in our buildings as we continue to struggle with urban heat island effects and such. This is just a huge game changer. And we're going to have better air quality, better ventilation, really combining all of these public health benefits with the decarbonization. That's the dream. And we're so excited about this partnership with National Grid. And I'm thrilled about everybody who you're going to hear from today. So I'm going to MC today. So I'm going to start out, like I mentioned, the BHA is really part of the mayor's whole Green New Deal vision for the city. And the mayor's director of the Green New Deal for the city of Boston, Oliver Sellers-Garcia, is an incredible partner to the BHA and just works with us so closely. So I want to start out by welcoming Oliver to the podium.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Administrator Bok, Mayor Wu, our friends from HUD and National Grid. And thank you for the Franklin Field community for welcoming us here today, and elected officials, advocates. Okay, I'll get on with the thank yous. As Kenzie mentioned, my name is Oliver Sellers-Garcia, and I'm the city's Green New Deal director. And today we're here to launch a really key component of the Boston Green New Deal. The Boston Green New Deal is the promise that we will aggressively tackle climate change, but that we're going to do it in a way that immediately improves quality of life and that brings benefits to the communities that have not always been put first when there are big moments of change in our country and in our society. As the administrator mentioned, this time last year, Mayor Wu challenged us, not just the BHA, she challenged all of us to make public housing fossil fuel free in 2030. And today's announcement of a new geothermal heating and cooling system is really a demonstration that we continue to deliver on the Green New Deal. A few things that are noteworthy about this project are really the incredible collaboration between National Grid and BHA and really figuring out how to make this work in the capital upgrades that are already planned. We have to show how this actually works, not just pie in the sky, but with the work that we have ahead of us in real life. The quality of life. As the administrator mentioned, there will now be reliable cooling in addition to heating. And really the justice component of this by demonstrating that we can really focus our resources in public housing when we tackle climate. This is what a Green New Deal in action looks like. A moment ago, I mentioned that in past generations and still today, people were unjustly left out of big moments of transition and change. And we are in exactly one of those moments now. We are rapidly eliminating fossil fuels from our environment and our economy, and that is a big transition. We have to look at all opportunities and seize the ones that we can. Geothermal energy offers a very promising way to heat and cool buildings. Using a network of buried underground pipes, heat in the winter and cooling in the summer is transferred into our homes without fossil fuels. And I will challenge everyone here today to try to explain network geothermal succinctly. I'm sure you will do a better job than me, but we'll see. Geothermal energy is not common yet in Massachusetts, but it's absolutely critical that we get this right and we figure out how to deploy it in more places because it's fossil fuel free, it's extremely efficient and reliable, and it offers a transition from the gas infrastructure that's in our environment today. One thing I really want to stress about this project is that this is a handful of early projects that are authorized by the Commonwealth through the Department of Public Utilities. The geothermal system here in Franklin Field is going to create a model for all types of buildings, market rate housing, offices, other kinds. It's not just for public housing. But we should be extremely proud that in Boston, the Boston Housing Authority is leading and showing how a fossil fuel-free energy system that will really be transformative can happen here, and it's for the future of our entire region. So in closing, I just want to thank a couple other folks, Melissa Levinson and Caroline Hahn from National Grid, the inimitable Joel Wool, the BHA Deputy Administrator for Sustainability and Capital Transformation, our Environment Commissioner, Allison Brizius, and a bunch of experts behind the scenes at BPDA and the Environment Department who really have been wonderful collaborators with the BHA. And now it is my honor to introduce our great mayor, Mayor Michelle Wu.
Good morning, everyone. I am incredibly honored to be here in this packed room of distinguished guests. You'll hear from, well, thank you to the speakers who have already spoken, our fearless leaders, Administrator Kenzie Bok and Green New Deal Director Oliver Sellers-Garcia. You will hear shortly from another group of incredible partners that we have. Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley is going to be up next, and then City Councilor Julia Mejia, City Councilor Brian Worrell, and then I'm taking over your MC job. I'm sorry, but I want to... And I want to thank HUD Regional Administrator Juana Matias for all that you do and getting the chance to have so many exciting announcements together already, as well as our National Grid President diving right in, Lisa Whelan. Thank you for your leadership over many years in different roles, and most of all, we'll have represented by Ms. Araceli Tejeda, but to the entire Franklin Field Family Tenant Task Force, thank you for all that you do. So I want to give a sense of who else is in the room also, right? Okay, so give a wave if you are a resident of the Franklin Field community. Thank you for having us. Give a shout if you work for the BHA or the City of Boston. Thank you. Power Corps in the house as well. Raise your hand if you're one of our community partners helping to make this initiative possible. If you describe yourself as a climate activist. And if you believe that Boston must be the greenest city in America, we're going to keep going towards that. Okay, just checking. Being the greenest city in America means that we will be best able to take care of not only the places we live, but the people we love. And I think that's what we are focused on here today. I had the chance to be here not too long ago with Ms. Josie Leon when we were here announcing the investments that are going to be made to improve the infrastructure overall on top of this clean energy project. And as we were seeing the different parts of each apartment now, there are things that are affecting the day-to-day lives of all of our residents. How easy it is to breathe in the units if you are having a heating or cooling unit or a gas-powered stove that just comes with documented health issues, or how much the exposure that the type of ventilation in your unit has directly feeds into every other part of how you're able to raise and take care of your kids, your elders, every generation of your family. And so we want to be a city where the benefits that we are bringing when it comes to energy efficiency and green energy are not just around being able to check off boxes that we hit our goals and we got to certain numbers, but that we've been able to empower and support the people in our community who make it possible for Boston to do everything that we do. From the housing that's needed, to the jobs that are going to be created, to the opportunities for young people to apprentice and connect this directly to their education, whether through Power Corps or through our school system, and through every other way that public health is, and our safety is directly connected to the issues we're talking about. So I want to thank all of our friends and partners here. It's taken, I know, a lot of work to even be able to announce this. It's not easy to be nation leading because there's a whole lot of things to figure out. And this is really an example of a change in the paradigm where we've thought of utility companies as on the other side, that we need to sort of pressure and make sure we're moving as fast as possible, and we're going to continue to do that. But here is an example where when we come together, when we are really clear about the people we're serving and the future that we're trying to build, then in fact, it's a win-win all across the board. And I know this is an investment by National Grid, by HUD, by everyone in Massachusetts and at the city level to make sure that we can learn as much as possible from this pilot, expand it into future phases, and then give those learnings to every other city that wants to do this as well. As you heard, last year we set forth some big goals, and we are moving forward on them because every Boston family deserves a home that is affordable, safe, and healthy. And we know that Boston's buildings in our older historic city account for a lot of how healthy and safe we are. To achieve our goal, we can't just rely on minor tweaks and adjustments here and there, or steps that are going to be comfortable and convenient and take a long time. We need to take bold, decisive action to update our energy infrastructure all across the city, and that's exactly what we're celebrating here today. In partnership with National Grid, we are launching Boston's first ever, and the Commonwealth's second ever, networked geothermal system to heat and cool the homes right here at the Franklin Field Apartments. I won't take up Oliver's challenge about trying to explain what that means, but suffice it to say, instead of harmful fossil fuels that have a lot of health impacts and other consequences, we are going to use a system of clean, green energy heat pumps that use the temperature of the ground and the earth to regulate the indoor temperature that our families need. Pumping the heat from the ground into homes in the winter, and then pumping the heat from outside back into the ground to cool our buildings in the summer. So we're moving away from outdated, polluting energy sources that rely on deteriorating infrastructure of natural gas pipelines and shifting that to cleaner, more efficient, cutting-edge technology to improve health outcomes at the community and family level, while also making sure we are moving forward on our climate goals at scale. This isn't just an investment in the housing that keeps so many of our young people, our veterans, seniors, children, residents with disabilities in the communities that we love. It's also a huge opportunity for our workforce. We'll be creating good-paying green jobs that protect the health of our residents and ensure Boston is a livable city for generations to come. This is a demonstration of just how much is possible when we collaborate on ambitious solutions that intersect with our greatest challenges, and when we refuse to choose between those false choices of either the climate crisis or the housing crisis, and instead realizing that they are both one and the same and interconnected. When we tap into the resources of our residents who have been showing the way for generations and decades in public housing at the core of our communities in Boston, we find new ways to ensure that this can happen at scale all across the city. And so that's why I'm excited to announce that in addition to this networked geothermal announcement, the City of Boston has secured $1 million in federal funding from the EPA, thank you, Congresswoman, to replace 80 gas stoves in Dorchester with electric ones, including 40 right here in Franklin Field. We have an opportunity and an obligation in this moment to lead by example, partner across every industry and every level of government to provide access to better, cleaner, more affordable housing for all of our residents. Imagine if communities around the country approached housing and environment as a dual challenge that it is. As the climate changes and the need for solutions that don't just solve problems but create jobs and opportunities continues to grow, communities will continue to look to Boston as proof that it can be done. So thank you for being here and being part of this announcement. I am so grateful to everyone who's made this possible, and I want to invite up all of my colleagues in elected office to give a quick hello and say a few words, because this has truly been a team and a group effort. They're all shy. I'm going to make each one of them come up. So. Okay. All right, District Councilor Brian Worrell.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name. So I want to thank all the elected officials in the building. Thank you to Mayor Wu, Congresswoman Presley, City Council at Large, Julie Mejia, Administrator Bok. Thank you, Lisa, Oliver, and everyone who's made today possible. As a District 4 Boston City Councilor, I'm constantly looking at developments. And to do my part in climate change, I'm always pushing our developers for green roofs, solar panels, but today we set the bar a little bit more higher for our developers. But in all seriousness, this is a tremendous investment and an ambitious one at that. We all know that the effects of climate change end up disproportionately impacting low-income communities. And so what we are celebrating today is literally groundbreaking technology that is going to allow this housing development to convert from gas to solely electric power using geothermal technology. The biggest building in the city with geothermal technology is at the private university on Carm Ave. And to be able to now offer this technology to our residents in public housing is a huge accomplishment. Our residents in public housing deserve it, and this is a great step for public housing in Boston. And I look forward to creating more greener communities and increasing the quality of life in all public housing across Boston. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I actually was not slated to speak, so y'all better watch out, because you never know what's going to come out my mouth. But I wanted to come here because I grew up navigating the Boston Housing Authority, and for me, this is really personal. And when Administrator Bok was talking about the impact that it was going to have on the quality of life of the residents, I got really emotional, because when we think about all of the things that are going to benefit folks, it's our people who are usually the last to get it. And to start with us first and create an opportunity for us to be able to breathe better and to live better and to demonstrate that those folks who are the most vulnerable, right, also deserve access to quality air and a better way of living. And so for me, this is so much more than just the climate justice conversation. This is about affirming our own dignity and recognizing that we matter in these conversations too. And I think that what I have learned in this space is that when we are juggling to make our ends meet and we're dodging bullets, the last thing we're thinking about is environmental justice. When in fact, having been on the city council now for the last 4 years, I have learned how the quality of life and the quality of air and the quality of the spaces that we live in also impact violence. And so this is also demonstrating the intersection of all of the things that we need to start paying attention to. So I just want to say thank you to all the partners who made it happen, and to our visionary mayor who put on a challenge and is going to put Boston yet again on the map as the first. So I just want to say thank you, Mayor Wu, for your leadership, because now everyone is going to take notes. And this is what we want, Boston to always be the number one. So I just want to say thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support. And I look forward to continuing to be a partner in this work. Thank you.
Sure. All right. Well, since she won't come up and speak, I just want to recognize again our incredible Congresswoman, Ayanna Pressley. But seriously, I think our Congresswoman's been a really big part on the national stage of bringing environmental justice to the forefront of the conversation. And this is what that looks like, when we actually deliver on it. So just really thank you for your leadership. And we're so proud to be represented here. I next, speaking of people who we're just so proud to have in the roles that they're in, I'm really excited next to welcome up HUD Regional Administrator Juana Matias. So, this partnership today, there's huge investment coming from the city, but there's also huge investment from the federal government, both in terms of HUD capital dollars at this site and also just the day in, day out federal support for housing families in our BHA communities. And it's just it's such a completely critical fabric of Boston. I always say we're really lucky in Boston. We built public housing right at the beginning of the program when it was very popular and every neighborhood wanted it. And as a result, we're one of the cities in the country that's got public housing the most distributed across all our different neighborhoods in Boston. And it's such a critical part of how you even define those neighborhoods. And we're just so lucky in that front. The downside to that is that our buildings are old. So that's really a lot about what this transformation is about, is how do we turn those into healthy buildings and how do we turn them into green buildings, right? And that's a lot of what we're thinking about at the BHA. But I always try to start with just recognizing that enormous benefit of having this resource for our communities to keep people anchored here in Boston. And we're really totally reliant on HUD for the support to make that happen day in, day out. And it's incredible to have someone leading HUD in New England. She's the regional administrator for all of New England who grew up in subsidized housing, knows how much this matters, and cares about it, both in terms of anchoring people and in terms of a real platform for opportunity, economic mobility, and the opportunity for people to thrive. So she's really inspiring to me and really glad to have her here today. Juana Matias.
Good morning. Good morning. We could do so much better than that. Good morning. Good morning. There we go. Buenos dias. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Administrator Bok, for such a kind introduction. Are we excited to celebrate this innovation today? Woo! We are thrilled with the partnerships that are taking place here in the city and throughout the state that are fighting climate change. I want to thank Mayor Wu for your leadership and commitment in making Boston fossil-free. You're a leader, and your vision here today is taking you one step closer to what you set out to accomplish a year ago. We want to applaud your goal to make the BHA fossil-free by 2030, and we know you can't do this work without your partners. So Councilor Mejia, Councilor Worrell, thank you for all that you do to advance innovation here in the city of Boston. The Boston Housing Authority is our largest housing authority in New England. They are a valuable partner to HUD. We are proud to work alongside you and all of the pioneering ways you are mitigating the effects of climate change here while improving the lives of residents. HUD could not exist without the support of Congresswoman Pressley. We thank you for all of the advocacy you do for HUD programs. I know Senator Markey has staff here. Thank you for your strong support. And of course, a special thanks to National Grid for investing in such an innovation. And our state programs, because I was told that our state legislature ensured that we changed state policy so that we could make what's happening today possible. So to our state partners, thank you for what you do. We know that it is important to leverage both public and private dollars in order to advance innovations like the one we are doing here today. And one of President's first actions in office was the executive order tackling the climate crisis at home and abroad. It laid out a broad vision for the federal government on how we can address the climate change issues we confront while also creating economic opportunity. And he went on to execute on this vision through the Inflation Reduction Act and the bipartisan infrastructure law, which combined will result in 1 billion metric tons of annual emission reductions by 2030, 10 times more climate impact than any other single piece of legislation ever enacted. And this morning here, the BHA is leveraging city investments and American Rescue Plan dollars to ensure and lead the way in improving energy efficiency and indoor quality in public housing. All of this aligns with the Biden-Harris administration vision to tackle the climate crisis by building a clean energy economy that benefits all Americans and furthers HUD's climate action plan. At the national level, HUD's spending on utilities and all-assisted housing is an estimated $6.9 billion, and according to an internal analysis, consumes as much as 14% of our annual total budget, and produces, unfortunately, an estimated 19.1 million metric tons of carbon emissions every year. However, this morning, by what we're doing here today, and what we will continue to do, HUD is committed to working with our partners like BHA to improve the efficiency of housing, not only to lower carbon emissions, but to increase housing affordability and quality, to allow more funds to be spent on the provision of housing versus utilities. The millions of dollars, as Administrator Bok mentioned, that we invest every year in this property through our operating and capital investments and our resident opportunity and self-sufficiency program is a testament of the Biden-Harris administration and HUD's commitment to Franklin Field families and all of our residents across the city of Boston. Look, what's most important here is the long-term impacts that this is going to have on the residents and your lives. We know we need to combat the climate crisis together in a way that delivers on the president's commitment to environmental and racial equity. And we couldn't ask for better partners who care about the resiliency of our infrastructure and the quality of life of our residents. So thank you, Mayor Wu, Administrator Bok. We look forward to continuing to be a partner.
Thank you so much, Administrator. Next up, I'm going to invite the National Grid President, Lisa Wayland, up. Before I do, I just a moment of personal indulgence. My 94-year-old grandmother is watching this at home. So hi, Nani. And she's watching it because my grandmother was actually one of the first women in the country to lead an energy company. She led New England Electric in her work life, and that actually became National Grid, and so she went to the same office that many of the folks here from the National Grid team go to now, and she has always believed and has always said really strongly to me growing up that the energy business is a policy business. That energy it powers the things that we do, and so you are fundamentally dealing with one of the substructures of our shared life together, and the decisions that you make as an energy company affect the realities of our society. And so that's a huge responsibility. It's something she took really seriously. And so she is so excited. She insisted on me sending the link and explaining how to watch this because she is just so excited that the BHA is able to announce this partnership with National Grid today, and so glad to see National Grid taking this role of policy leadership and really, moving us forward towards our green future. So I wanted to give that shout out to her, and on her behalf, as well as the BHAs in the city of Boston's, really thank Lisa for her leadership here. So please, Lisa Wayland.
Thank you, Administrator Bok, for that kind introduction and for your strong collaboration on this initiative. And to your grandmother, if you're out there watching, I just want to say thank you for paving the way for people like me to join this industry. Mayor Wu, thank you for your leadership and partnership. We were honored when the mayor mentioned this project in her recent State of the City address, and we are excited to dive into this work today. Congresswoman Presley, we're also so thrilled to have you here, and we appreciate your strong leadership in Washington. Thank you. A few others to highlight, obviously HUD Regional Administrator Juana Matias, appreciate your support and the federal funding that comes along with it. Deputy Secretary Jason Marshall, appreciate you being here as well. Councilor Mejia and Morell, as well as members of Senator Markey's team. And most importantly, I want to thank the Franklin Field community. We are really excited to do this work with you, and we appreciate you welcoming us today. Let me also recognize the many colleagues from National Grid who have joined us, including our unions, who have been actively engaged in this journey. Here with us today are representatives of United Steelworkers 12003, who are the local here in Boston. We also have United Steelworkers 12012, and we also have the Utility Workers Union of America, Local 369. We all know how important the workforce is to our energy future, and we are so lucky to have such a skilled and knowledgeable team a part of National Grid as we move this project forward. The federal government, the Commonwealth, and the City of Boston have set ambitious goals, rightfully so. And to achieve them, I think we need to focus on a few things that are embedded in this project. The first is that nobody can do this work alone. Here in Boston and Massachusetts, we're so lucky to have great leadership, both in the public and private sectors, but we need to partner to make progress. So I'm excited to collaborate with the City of Boston and the Boston Housing Authority on Boston's first geothermal project right here at Franklin Field. Second, we need to make sure that this energy transition benefits everyone. And as we decarbonize our assets, we can't leave anyone out. Everyone needs to be a part of a clean, fair, and affordable energy future. And finally, we need to draw on Boston's spirit of innovation, exploration, and discovery. Geothermal is one alternative we're pursuing because of its potential to harness the Earth's energy to provide carbon-free heating and cooling. Already we have a project in Lowell, which has provided us some initial learnings that we will be applying right here to this project. But we still need to continue innovating and testing and learning, and then scaling the most efficient and effective approaches to decarbonization. At National Grid, we are very excited about today's announcement and all of the important work we have before us. We are grateful for the opportunity and support to work together. With strong partnerships, a shared commitment to bringing the benefits of clean energy to everyone, and a willingness to keep innovating and adapting, we will meet our shared climate and clean energy goals together, partnering for progress. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And really, it has already been a really great pleasure working with your team, and you just have an incredible set of folks in this room, so really want to thank them for that. A couple more city-based shout-outs. Oliver already thanked Joel Wool, but he's our sustainability wizard at BHA, so I just want to give him another shout-out. My deputy administrator, and I also saw my cabinet colleague, Mariangeli Solis-Overa was here, and she's our equity chief, and I think, again, that's really the spirit of today, so I want to thank Mari for being with us, and I think our deputy commissioner of ISD, there's a lot of, yes, there we go, yes. Oh, and of course, yes, and also our environment commissioner. Again, the extent to which, I can't overstate, not every public housing authority in the country has the kind of partnership from its city that we do. In fact, I would say probably none do, honestly. And so, like, Allison is like a seconded BHA employee sometimes. Like, she's really like working on our behalf, applying for grants, helping us find money and think about strategies for doing things. So Allison Brizia is our environment commissioner. But I mentioned at the start that we're really in the home of our Franklin Field residents here today, and our Franklin Field Task Force holds meetings here every month. They've been doing an incredible job of doing that all fall and winter. We also have, I saw Toshiba, who works with our seniors here earlier. She's amazing. And this is a regular place of meeting for our Franklin Field seniors as well. And so we're really grateful to them for their hospitality. And it's extremely exciting for me to get to invite up our president of the task force, Aracelis Tejeda. Just going to say a few words.
Hola, buenos días. Le doy gracias a todos por estar hoy en este día dándonos apoyos, principalmente a Kenzie, nuestra alcaldesa Michelle, a National Grill y todos los demás que están en estos momentos aquí para darnos apoyo sobre el proyecto que vamos a tener. Esperamos que ese proyecto sea de muchas cosas para nuestra comunidad, ya que estamos pasando tiempecito bastante frío, y que eso sea para nuestros residentes aquí, todos nosotros, de mucho agrado. Y gracias por invitarnos a lo del TAFOR, de ser parte de este proyecto también. Y nada, es todo. Muchas gracias por todo.
Gracias. So just to offer a quick translation, yeah. Do you want to come up and speak to the mic? Come and speak up at the mic. Okay, I can try. So Aracelius was saying thank you to everybody here. You want to try? Go ahead.
This is very nerve-wracking. Voy a hacer lo más que yo pueda. Okay, Araceli, I'm going to try my best. She said she want to say thank you. She's very grateful to the mayor and to Kenzie Bok, and she said she's looking forward to this project because all of us, like they go through this heating and losing the heating. Araceli, me perdona porque cierta cosa dijiste. What else did she say? I'm trying to remember everything. The cooling, the major impact for all the residents that lives here. So, yeah, I know she said so much. I'm so sorry. I know what. So.
We are all very grateful.
Sí, por favor, Araceli. She can repeat it. Paso a paso, okay?
Buenos días a todos.
Good morning, everyone.
Gracias a todos por estar en este día aquí, dándonos apoyo sobre el nuevo proyecto que tenemos sobre National Grill, sobre nuestra calefacción.
Okay, I just want to say thank you. Okay, for
being here today.
For being today. I know, and the support. I'm so sorry. I've never done this for this project with National Grid. Okay,
Sí, y por darnos el apoyo.
And to give us the support.
Que el TAFO les podemos estar aquí compartiendo con todos ustedes.
All of you.
Le doy gracias a todas las organizaciones que él está participando en este día, principalmente como la alcaldesa Michelle, a Kenzie, National Grid, está aquí Julia Mejía, está Brian, está, bueno, todos los temas. A todas las demás organizaciones. Sí, esperemos que este nuevo proyecto nos sea de mucha ayuda para nuestros residentes con la calefacción, ya que si de verdad la necesitamos bastante. Sí. Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much to Aracelius and Josie and Carmen and Sheila and everybody from the task force who's here. I hope it came through to all of you just what incredible leadership we have here. And for the BHA, that's always been a critical thing. Like our residents, these are their communities. They lead. We listen to what it is that they need. And it's all of our job, every level of government, right, city, state, federal, to come with the resources for the things that they need. And when we have the opportunity to partner with private partners and utilities like National Grid, I mean, that's really it's game changing. And so we're just so excited about this opportunity today. Thank you. I want to thank again also, the mayor acknowledged them, but we have a lot of climate activists and advocates in the House. And I think that, this is an extremely concrete step that we're taking today that's going to impact a bunch of residents here at Franklin Field, but the domino effect began with a lot of climate advocacy that's been going on for a long time, and that created the conditions for this pilot to even exist. And so just, sometimes when you're pushing the rock up the hill with climate advocacy, it's not always obvious, where it's all going to lead, and we're facing really big challenges here. And what I love about the mayor is that she is both one of the people I know who is most aware of the like urgency and magnitude of the climate crisis. I think like a lot of folks in politics don't really like to like fully look at that because it is so overwhelming. And she's also just like so focused on results and action that we can take and like how we turn like, you know, projections into action plans. And that's really, for the BHA, that's what this goal of going fossil fuel free is all about, is going from a goal to just like action steps one after another. So today is another one of those domino pieces, and we look forward to a lot more to fall. Thank you all. Okay, I think we are going to take a photo with the speakers, and then we are going to take a photo with the larger group of everybody who is involved in this. So if I can get the speakers up front, and then we'll take it. We'd love to have a bigger group in the picture. Araceli, you have to come up. Task force, come be. We're going to shift this.
More? El culón tuyo tiene que ir atrás. ¿Oíste? ¿Oíste? Ese culo tuyo.